Hi everybody, Debalina here, the certified Silva Method instructor in India, and let me take the pleasure to welcome Fredo Marshall. He is one of our certified Silva Method instructor, one of the most experienced one from Washington, and Fred, welcome to the Silva Talk Show. And I was reading or going through your bio that's mentioned in your website, Fred. So I have seen there you are practicing Silva Method since 1998. So
Yes, that's correct.
yeah, so it's been long that you are practicing Silva Method. So before we start our discussion today, I'd love to know more about you, like how the journey started for you, how you have introduced with Silva Method, and then you have become the instructor, and now you are spreading this amazing technique to so many people. So how all of this started?
How it all started.
Yeah.
Well, I got interested in meditation when I was probably I don't know, I was maybe in my early 20s.
Okay.
I was reading a lot of books about it. So I kind of started my own method. I didn't know about Silva, didn't know about
Hmm.
transcendental meditation or anything else. I was fascinated by it and read more books,
Hmm.
but still hadn't formalized it. And then in 1980, I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast,
Okay.
and I took a job and I met an individual named Tom he was a Silva graduate. He had taken the course and he told me all about it. And he sort of planted a seed for me with that, especially when he told me about casework, because I had read about Edgar Cayce
Yeah.
and he told me about casework,
Hmm.
and that really fascinated me. But it took me another 18 years until I actually took the class.
Okay.
And so in 1998, I picked up the phone. There was no cell phones then. Well, there were. They were just big, like in a big suitcase. They were big.
Yeah.
And so we still had phone books. The internet was relatively new. And so I used a paper phone book and I looked for Silva, and there was a Silva instructor in the same town where I was living in, Kirkland, Washington. Called him on the phone. He said there was a class starting that weekend and said that there happened to be a space for me. If I wanted to go, I could go.
Okay.
And when he told me where he lived, I realized he lived like within a 5-minute walk of where I was living. Took the class, really liked it.
Yeah.
We allow you to audit the class as often as you want for a very small amount of money. You can take it over again. So I did that with Bob for too many times to count.
Hmm.
And eventually we became friends, and he gave me a Silva instructor's manual. And I was going to get certified way back then. And then, I don't know, a few years later, Bob died. Kind of,
Okay.
I lost traction with it.
Hmm.
Fast forward to 2020, or actually 2017 or 16, I decided to go forward with being certified,
Okay.
and I started that process. And in 2020, actually right as COVID was beginning, I flew to Farmington, Connecticut, took the class with Ken
Okay.
Kasha and two other individuals,
Yeah.
and got certified. And then, of course, I came back, and the whole country shut down, and we didn't hold any classes
Hmm.
for about 18 months, something like that. And then we started doing Zoom classes, which
Okay.
were very successful actually, and still are.
Wow, that's great. So, Fred, it's been so long that you are with this particular method. You are practicing. You are teaching this to students. So, what is Silva method for the new one, for the newbies who are watching us for the very first time? So, to them, what is
Yeah,
Silva
it's
method?
well, Silva Method is a mind development program.
Yeah.
That's how I would characterize it. It's a meditative discipline in the sense that we teach you our method of meditating, but um, the idea being we want to get you to the alpha level,
Yeah. Yeah.
to the lower brain frequency, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So basically, it's like to deal with our mind, right? We will
Yes,
people will get.
right. To understand that your subconscious mind
Mhm.
is really what shapes who you are, what you do, yeah, how you are in the world.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do things
Mhm.
they're not even aware they're doing it. because it's coming from your subconscious mind. So you get to know yourself a little better, a lot better,
Yeah.
through meditation.
Okay, okay. So with this meditation, we will be able to access or get, we'll be able to use the subconscious mind in much proper way, right?
I'm sorry, could you rephrase that question? I'm not
Yeah,
sure what the question was.
yeah. The question is like through this meditation or through Silva method, we will be able to access our subconscious mind in much better way. Is it?
Yes,
Okay, okay.
that is correct.
Yeah, and also like you are telling that we will be able to adjust our brain waves, and we will be able to go to that alpha level of mind. So could you please explain how this is possible, or maybe for those who are watching us for the very first time, what is alpha level of mind actually?
Well, the brain operates at frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher frequencies, there's a chart behind me, but you can't really see it. But at the higher frequencies, beta is what you're in when you're in your waking state. You're in what they call beta. A little lower frequency below that is the alpha level.
Yeah.
That's more of your creative level, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Below that is theta and then delta. When you're born, when you first come into the world, you spend a lot of time in theta.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, as you grow a little older, you spend a lot of time in alpha. But as you become, more mature, you spend most of your time in beta unless somebody just trains you to do otherwise, to access your alpha. And everybody has the same innate ability
Mm-hmm.
to access alpha. Everybody. Everybody has the same intuitive abilities. They just don't use them. And we teach you how to use them through repetition.
Okay, okay. So, like with this Silva method, we that alpha, we have the ability to go and regularly visit to that alpha level of mind, right? And but
Yes.
somehow being like with evolving as we are becoming adult, as we are getting more involved in social lives and with influencing other stuffs when like everything else are influencing our mind, somehow we are losing our ability, something like that. Is it like something like that?
It's not so much that we lose the ability, we just don't use it. We almost forget about it. I mean, one of the terms, if you read Eastern philosophy at all, they refer to the world that we see at large,
Hmm.
the material world,
Hmm.
as the grand illusion.
Okay.
The grand illusion, meaning it's an illusion.
Okay.
It's a good illusion. It really is. But nevertheless, it is an illusion. We are vibrational beings.
Okay.
We exist on a vibrational level. Yes, we're material, but we're also vibrational.
Okay. Yeah, and that's why like that term comes from that quantum physics as well, right, Fred? That
Yes,
we are energy. All of us are energy. All the matters, whatever we see, maybe a bottle or maybe mobile phone, the laptop or
right,
us.
right.
Yeah.
Energy's we're in a different state.
Yes.
Much like you can have a glass of water, you can freeze it, then it's ice.
Mm-hmm.
You can thaw it and boil it, then it's steam.
Yeah.
It's still water in a different state. So all the matter in the universe, in the world, is just in various states. And
Yeah.
humans, we're in a material state, but we are vibrational beings,
Yes. Yes.
spiritual beings.
Yeah. So yeah. So like what is the exact tools or techniques of Silva method that will help us, or if you give a brief or glimpse of the tools and techniques that we have in the Silva method, which can help people to make a or create a better version of themselves.
Right. So the first thing we're going to do, well, Silva is broken up into two classes, Silva Life System and Silva Intuition System. During the first class, Silva Life System, we're going to teach you the basics of meditation and how to attain the alpha level in what we call the 3-to-1 method. It's a simple breathing exercise, and by breathing, just deep breaths and exhaling and closing your eyes, you can get to the alpha level very quickly. We also use what we call dynamic meditation, which means that you can get to in very deep states of mind, like into alpha or even maybe deeper to theta.
Yeah.
But we teach you to maintain a level of awareness so that while you're at these levels,
Mm.
you can do things. You're still aware. You're at the deep level, but you're still aware. And we give you a variety of exercises, and we call it your mental toolbox. I don't know how many we give you, a lot. Things like, there's a sleep exercise, which is an exercise to help you if you can't fall asleep. We teach you to visualize with your mind and your imagination. Basically, you just do something. It's kind of like counting sheep, but we have an exercise where you do something similar to help you go to sleep, and it does work to help you go to sleep. We have an awake exercise, which allows you to program yourself to wake up at a certain time in the morning, and you just wake up at that time without an alarm clock. We have a variety of exercises. This exercise called Mirror the Mind, which is a problem-solving exercise. We have another one similar to it called Holo Viewing, which is also a problem-solving exercise. We just give you many, many, many tools to use. Some of them you'll use often, and some of them you won't. You put them on your mental shelf, so to speak. And once in a while, you might dust one off and use it. Yeah. We also give you a student manual so you can review this at any time.
Yes. So that's a one-step solution, I think, for all the problems we are having currently. As you know, as per the modern world, we are getting busy, and as a result, we are getting a lot of stress, a lot of depression, insomnia issues, and so many other stuffs. And in Silva Mind Control Method training, we will get solution for all those, right?
Yes. That's correct. We ask the students to complete a questionnaire before they take the class, so the instructors have an idea of what issues they're dealing with and how we can best cater the class to those, to help them with those problems.
Yes.
And we've been very successful with that.
Yeah. And also, as you were telling that we will learn to visualize. So it will be great, Fred, if you put some lights on this, what the term actually means. What is visualization?
So we use visualization and imagination. So what we want you to do is we want you to learn to use what we call your mental screen.
Okay.
And mental screen is like a movie theater screen, but it's not the back of your eyelids. It's out in front of you, and it's about 20 degrees elevated, much like a movie screen. And with your imagination, we want you to be able to create images on that screen. And it's not difficult.
Yeah.
It just takes practice.
Yes.
One of the biggest challenges is most people run an internal dialogue in their head. The voice in your head, they run it all the time.
Yeah.
And some people find it challenging to turn off that voice.
Yeah, that's true.
To quiet the mind. And that's one of the ways that we help you to change your life for the better, and that is that if you read about the brain, Joe Dispenza is one source of that, there's others too, but if you read about the brain, you find that somewhere in the high 90 percentile of people play the same internal dialogue through their head every morning, every day, typically about events in the past.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why their life never changes. Because they're repeating the same voice all the time. And we teach you how to reframe your thinking to change that voice in your head.
Yeah, and
to stop the one you have now and to be able to move forward with your life and not get stuck in a rut.
Yes, Ray, definitely. And I believe that's one of the most, biggest advantage of taking the Silva Method classes or maybe the home study program, because as
Right.
we are, growing old, there are so many belief systems, there are so many thoughts, patterns, negative, positive, whatever, all kind of thought patterns are, we are constantly gathering all of those in our mind. So it's very necessary to rewire those things or those thoughts or those thought patterns and reprogram in a proper way so that, we can get clarity of what actually we want, right?
Right, that's right. I think one of the foundational methods, or I don't know what to call it, it's not a method exactly, but sort of a foundational way that we ask you to reframe your thinking is to with regard to issues or problems in your life,
Okay.
to fully acknowledge the problem,
Okay.
look at it, study it, understand the problem, but then move to a solution.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Yeah.
We,
Yes. Yes. Please go ahead.
we call it desire,
Hmm.
belief, expectancy, and gratitude. So you have a problem,
Yeah.
you look at the problem, you understand it. Now you desire to fix the problem, you expect to be able to fix it,
Yes.
and you believe you can do it.
Yes.
Desire, belief, and expectancy.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And
And so rather than dwelling on the problem, you dwell on the solution. That's the idea.
exactly, this is the main base or foundation, I believe.
Yeah, in a nutshell, it's the power of positive thinking, but it's more than that.
Yes. Yes.
It's a very deliberate method of thought processing,
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
you can train yourself to do it.
Yeah. But Fred, here comes one more question that we always, or maybe often we get this kind of questions that once we, this thing DBE process is applicable once we know what the problem is. But for so many people, it's, for them it's very difficult to understand or even identify where the actual problem is, or it's very difficult for them to get the clarity on where the problem actually arises. So for them, what will be your tips?
Well, one thing we do is in Silva, we recognize that there is an intelligence to the universe.
Okay.
We refer to it as source. Let me tell you I'll just give you a little anecdote about source.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an individual, he's deceased now, but there was a person named 𝐤𝐭 𝐂𝐤𝐿, INGO Swann, SWANN. He's deceased, but he was one of the best remote viewers in the world.
Okay.
And he was being studied by the Stanford Institute.
Mm-hmm.
And he felt they were trying to disprove remote viewing.
Okay.
So when he went into the lab to do the work with them, they said, we're going to give you addresses and we want you to remote view the address. He said, no, don't give me any addresses because maybe I've already been there. So it won't be a genuine view. Maybe I've been to the address. And they said, well, if we don't give you addresses, then how will you be able to remote view what we want you to view? How will you do that? And he said, just give me map coordinates, like 57 minutes east, 12 minutes west, and so on.
Okay.
And they said to him, you know every map coordinate in the world? He said, no, I don't. I just go out and get the information.
Okay.
Meaning that all the information in the universe is out there. You just have to ask source for the information and you can get the information. And so that dovetails with, if an individual is having a problem that they can't identify, they would go to level, they would ask source for help.
Okay.
That's what they would do. And we have exercises specifically made to do that very thing. And you quite often get answers, and they may come in a variety of forms.
Yeah.
Maybe a conversation with a stranger, just maybe an epiphany that comes to your head, but you do get the answers.
Okay. Okay. So answer will come to us from in like, or in any way, in any from any source or in any way, maybe through
It could be in a dream even.
yeah, maybe through a dream also. Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
They come from a variety of sources.
And the next question that we again get more often is, what is the feeling when we go to alpha level for the very first time? How I will identify that? Like, yes, I am in alpha level of mind now.
So there is a feeling to it. I can't really describe the feeling, but the way you really know you've been at alpha is by the results you get
Okay.
with we call it programming. You program yourself. You'll know by the results you get. I can give you a small example. So when I first started Silva, this is back in 1998, I was living in a condo with my girlfriend, and then she went and took the class also. And during the class, everybody talks about manifesting. They want to manifest things.
Yeah.
They want to find their soulmate or whatever it may be, get a new car. Our instructor Bob told us to start small. So we wanted a screen door in our condo,
Hmm.
but because we wanted cross ventilation,
Yeah.
and a screen door would do that. We were renting, the owners of the condo wouldn't pay for a door. So we decided, my girlfriend and I sat down and decided, okay, we're going to program for a screen door.
Hmm.
First order is it has to be free. I'm not going to pay for it. It has to be free. Second criteria, it has to be pre-hung in like an aluminum frame. I can stand it up in the door jamb, put some screws in, and we're good to go. We also had cats.
Hmm.
So we wanted the bottom of the door to be glass and the top to slide down and expose a screen.
Okay.
Great. So we wrote these things down. We call meditating going to level. When you go to alpha, we call that going to level. So that evening, we both meditated, we went to level, and we both visualized and programmed for getting that door.
Mm-hmm.
Desire, belief, and expectancy. We desired the door, we believe we're going to get it, we expect we'll get it within a small amount of time, 2 weeks or so. And then we just let it go, it's out to the universe. Mm-hmm. About 2 or 3 weeks later, she comes home with the door in her car. She had driven by a construction site because there was a road closed. She had to take a detour home, and she saw this person putting doors out and says free door. And she pulled in, and she asked him what's going on. He said, well, we ordered these doors. They're wrong. We've already unpacked them. We can't sell them. We just want to give them away. And she said, well, I'm looking for this. And he said, oh, yeah, there's one of those right over there.
Yeah.
And it was the door we wanted. The only criteria we didn't address was what side the hinges were on. Hmm. And so they were actually on the wrong side, meaning that the screen door would open from the right, but then the main door opened from the left. Yeah. It was kind of goofy, but it did work. The point being that was confirmation that we had been an alpha and that we had transmitted this wanting that we had to the universe, and the universe answered us with a door.
Yeah, okay.
And I've manifested other things in my life since then. Yeah. It's not that difficult.
So, is it Fredo?
The thing to remember is that.
Yes, please go ahead.
I was going to say, you have to remember that whatever you manifest, it's a co-creation with other people. Okay. The bigger the thing you want, the more people are going to play roles in attaining that thing.
Yeah. That's completely, I agree with you.
Like Bill Gates making Microsoft. He had a vision for Microsoft, but it took, I don't know how many people to make it, thousands probably. But he attained his vision. Same with, who's the Tesla guy?
Yeah.
Elon Musk. Same thing.
Yes.
Anyway, move on. We're getting sidetracked.
So, is it something like that, Fred, that whatever thoughts, whatever we actually want, if we go to alpha level and we manifest that with true desire and we put all our belief that yes, we will get it, and this thing we will be able to get it, all the things, it's applicable to all the things, or any restrictions are there?
Are there any restrictions?
Yes, like whatever we want, can we actually get all the things?
Yes,
we want?
But it has to be the highest and best outcome for all involved.
Okay.
Right. How do I put that? No, there's no restrictions. I mean, you have to be reasonable because you have to truly believe you can attain this.
Okay.
And the other piece of it is the desire, belief, and expectancy. The other piece of it is that when you are at level programming to create, to manifest whatever it is you're doing, you then want to experience. We call them subjective reference points. You want to have an emotional experience, as though you've already received the item, whatever it is. You've already manifested it. So you want to put your mind in that state of already having received this and experience how good it would feel or will feel.
Yeah.
So desire, belief, expectancy, and also you want to experience it as though it's already happened.
Yes.
that's what you want to
And
do.
also, like you just mentioned one thing, that subjective point of reference. What is this actually?
Subjective point of reference. So throughout your life, you've had good things happen to you.
Mhm.
Maybe you got a college degree, maybe you had a great marriage, but you've had good things happen.
Yeah.
If you think back to those things and think back to the feelings that are around them, those good feelings are subjective reference points.
Okay, okay. And how
So
these
one
are
thing,
going to be helpful in Silva method?
it's helpful because let's say that you got a college degree and you worked really hard to get it, or you got certified to do something, you worked really hard to attain the certification.
Hmm.
When you achieved it, there was a feeling of accomplishment that you had.
Okay.
There was a feeling, there were good feelings around that. There were good emotional feelings around that. Those feelings are what we call a subjective reference point. So so you have those locked in your mind, you know how they felt. So now you want to achieve something, you're programming to achieve something, whatever it may be. When you program for it, you have the desire, belief, expectancy, and then when you experience it as though you've already received it,
Hmm.
you would wrap it in those emotions that you've marked as a subjective reference point from when you attained your college degree or something. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's an amazing clarification for this point, for all of those who are
Well,
having doubts on this. Maybe for the new one, or maybe for the silver graduates as well.
yeah, if you read about this, I mean, there's a scientist named Bruce Lipton. He's got
Yes.
some good videos.
Hmm.
And one thing he talks about is that when you form the intention to attain this thing, when you actually wrap it in the emotion of having already received it, that's the transmission point, meaning that's when it goes out to the universe.
Okay.
When you wrap it in those
Hmm.
positive emotions that surround it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Bruce Lipton's the quantum physics guy, and he's got some good videos out there.
Yes, yes. Bruce Lipton's videos are amazing, I think, I believe, and it's available in YouTube. Plenty of his videos, and it's
Yeah, YouTube.
yeah, yeah. It's available in YouTube. Yeah. So also, like you were telling one more thing, that's remote viewing. So what is this actually, remote viewing?
Say that. I'm sorry.
You were telling
You
about remote viewing a few minutes back.
oh, remote
So what is
viewing.
this actually?
Well, remote viewing is the ability to see events at a distance,
Yeah.
to view something at a distance
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Yeah.
in your mind.
Hmm.
Um, I can give you a real life example
Yeah.
that occurred with myself and one of my students. In 2022, I received a phone call from a person in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
His name was Lauren. And he said to me, first he'd make sure he had the Silva instructor because he wanted to talk to a Silva instructor. And
Okay.
I identified myself. I said, yeah, that's who I am. How can I help you? And he said, can you find my lost dog? And I kind of laughed and said, I don't know, but we can certainly try.
Hmm.
And then I got information from him about the dog. I needed to know what he being the caller looked like. I wanted to know what he looked like, how old he was, where he was located, and he told me the name of the town he was in. I can't even pronounce it. It's a very long, it starts with a T, but anyway. And I wanted the name of the dog and a description of the dog and the age of the dog. The dog's name was Levi.
Okay.
So I said, let me call you back. And he said, okay. So I called a friend of mine who was an instructor and bounced it off him. And he said, yeah, it's a good idea. Let's do it. Let's just have fun with it. Let's try it. Let's do it. So I told him, I said, okay, you and I, Bill, we're just going to visualize Lauren being with his dog again. But I got two students I'm going to ask, and I want them to actually find the dog. I want to know where the dog is. We need to tell Lauren where you can go to get your dog back. So I call the two students, and the next day, one of them calls me back. We'll call him Eric. And he says, I found the dog.
Wow.
And I said, well, where is it? And he said, well, I saw the dog. He said, I did a hole viewing exercise, which is an exercise that we do.
Yeah.
And I saw the dog walking with Lauren. And Lauren went into a little grocery store. And while he was in the store, this young man came by and played with the dog. And the dog wandered off with the young man. So I followed them. And they went to a really good-looking yellow house that was surrounded by a large wall like you might find in Mexico. You know. And they walked in, they closed the gate behind them. And he said, and I got the feeling that Levi was in a very good place. And so I thought, okay. Now, mind you, when I first talked to Lauren, the dog had been missing. The dog went missing the last week of August, on Monday of the last week of August in 2022.
Okay.
No, of June rather.
Okay.
And he called me, I don't know when it was, a couple of days after that. So the dog had been missing about a week anyway when he called me. So anyway, I called him back and I shared the information with him. And he said, oh, I know exactly where that house is. That's the veterinarian's house. And so he went and got the dog back, right? Okay, end of story, right? Good end, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So about a week later, it dawned on me that Eric had viewed a past event.
Okay.
He remote viewed the past. That's pretty amazing. And it prompted me to start reading a lot about remote viewing. And one of the challenges with remote viewing is knowing where you are on the timeline. If you read about remote viewing, that's what they'll tell you.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the idea being that everything is happening at once. So the future, the past, and the present are all occurring right now, and you can view them with remote viewing. Anyway, I thought it was pretty amazing. When I told Eric, he was dumbfounded.
Yeah.
And I said to him, did you intend to do that? And he said, no, I didn't really. My intention was to find Levi. That's what I asked Source, help me find Levi.
Exactly. So his intention was so pure, to find back his dog.
Yeah, his intention was to find the dog, right.
Yeah. So
The idea being that he first visualized Lauren and used Lauren as the connection to the dog. That's what he told me he did.
Exactly. So
and he did have he described Lauren, and later Lauren sent us the picture. Eric's description of Lauren was exactly as it is in the photograph. It's pretty interesting.
yeah. So for people who want to learn this technique, or who want to apply this technique, for them any suggestion is from your end to is practice is required for achieve this kind of ability to get exact information, or one
Is practice required?
yeah
That's what you said?
yeah practice is
Yes.
required, right?
Right. Because one thing that happens with people, it's not unusual. So at the end of the class, on the last day of the second class, we do what's called casework,
Okay.
where somebody gives you the name, the age, and the location, and the sex of an individual, and you view them on your mental screen, and you can scan their body and find anything, we call them abnormalities, things that might be wrong, and identify maybe you have a heart problem, or maybe your liver, whatever. And for a lot of people, they have a very difficult time when they do it in the beginning. Very difficult time. But if they practice and just to keep doing it, they get it right. They get it.
Yes.
And it's no reflection on the individual if they don't get it right the first time. It's just some people get it right immediately. But the more you do it, the better you get.
Yes. Initially, I
And
believe
the more you practice,
casework comes plays a vital role here in this particular case working session. Most
I'm sorry, say that again.
most of the people, I believe, at that particular case working session apply their guess works rather than taking the informations from intuitions during
Oh,
guess works.
yeah. So is the question really, does intuition play a role in casework?
Yes, his intuition is actually
Yeah,
good.
it certainly does play a role because that's what you're doing. You're getting intuitive intuitive hit, I'll call it, when you scan the body and you think there's something wrong. Because you don't, it's interesting, the more you get intuitive information, the better you get, because you learn to differentiate the difference between what comes in intuitively as opposed to what comes in from the critical mind.
Yes.
There's a difference in how the information is received.
Yes.
I mean, I'll give you a small example.
Yeah.
My daughter's she's in a global studies program. She's away all the time. And so she's only home she's graduating this, 2024 she'll graduate. She's in her first semester senior right now. But anyway, she's only home for little brief periods of time. And, she's 21. She doesn't live with her parents anymore. So anyway, she comes home and I want to see her. And there was one point where I hadn't seen her. I knew she was home, and I was going to see her when I drove her to the airport eventually, but I wanted to see her. And so I was driving around running errands, and I pulled over and I stopped for a second, and I did our little 3 fingers technique that we do. And I went to level real quick, and I said, "Where's Ari?" Her name's Ari. Ariana, but I call her Ari. I said, "Where's Ari?" And then I continued on my errands. And I was driving by this little strip mall, and as I drove by, it said to me, "Ari's in the grocery store."
Oh.
I went, wow. Pulled in, parked the car, started going to the grocery, walking in, and she walked out the door.
Wow.
There she was. Now you could say that was a coincidence, but I know the way the information came in. It was intuitive.
Wow.
I had asked Source, and Source answered me.
That's great. Wow. And how we can be more intuitive using Silva method?
How can you be more intuitive all the time?
Yeah.
You can, you have to relax into it. It's hard to, it's not that you're at alpha all the time, but you can attain the alpha state very quickly.
Okay.
And so even when you're in beta, you can receive an intuitive piece of information and recognize it. It takes practice.
Oh, okay. So, like intuitive informations will come like when we will practice regularly, going to alpha level of mind.
Yes.
Intuitive,
Yes.
intuitions will come when we are in beta as well, right?
Yes. I mean, in fact, if all you do, so let's say you take the 2 Silva classes, you finish the classes, and all you do going forward is to meditate on a regular basis. We recommend 3 times a day is best, morning, noon, and evening. Short, they don't have to be long, 15 minutes is fine. If all you do is meditate, you will change. It will change you. It will change your intuitive abilities. It will change the amount of compassion you have for other humans, the amount of empathy you have for other humans. You'll become a better human being merely by meditating. You will change. In fact, if you think of it sometime, just Google, do a search, online search for benefits of meditation.
Yeah.
And there is no shortage of articles in reputable medical magazines and scientific magazines regarding the benefits of meditation. Your immune system is boosted.
Yeah.
A variety of things occur when you meditate all the time, not the least of which is increasing your intuitive ability.
Yes. So one more thing, like before we wrap up our sessions, today's session, that for few people, or not few, for most of the young people, it seems that they feel meditation is a difficult thing. That we have to sit, we have to be concentrated, and so many other things. So they find it a bit difficult. So how Silva method is like differ from this kind of difficult meditation, or how you can explain to them that how easier Silva method is to practice regularly?
Meditation is as easy as breathing.
Okay.
We all breathe. And so the first order when you're going to meditate is we're going to ask you to take 3 deep breaths.
Okay.
And we're going to have you visualize. We're going to say visualize and repeat the number 3 times. Deep breath, and then the number 2 3 times, and number 1 3 times. And once you do that often enough, you'll get to level. Um, what I tell people is that they need to relax into it.
Yeah.
Just relax. The first thing you do want to do with meditation is relax. In fact, some people, it's not unusual for new students especially, when we do some of the longer meditations, they actually fall asleep.
Hmm. Yes.
It's not unusual. We tell them that's okay. You'll still hear me talking. You'll still receive all the information. And they do. But eventually they learn not to fall asleep.
Yeah.
They learn to maintain that. We call it dynamic meditation. I don't know if I already explained that or not.
Yes. Yes. Explain.
Yeah. They just learn not to do it. I mean, there are long meditations I do. I do a variety of meditations. I do guided meditations, and then I do some just playing the Silva sounds and do some without the sounds. And there are some guided meditations, some long ones, where I still sometimes fall asleep. It does happen.
Okay, so that's quite normal. Falling asleep is quite normal for them
Yeah,
who has practicing regularly.
right. And they just have to relax into it. Listen to the instructor's voice, listen to the sound they're going to be playing, focus on your breathing, just relax.
Yeah.
It sometimes takes a while. I had a student that was she's a nuclear physicist of some kind, very smart woman, scientist.
Okay.
In the beginning of the first day, she kept saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not working. I can't do it. And I said to her, just first of all, stop saying you can't do it. Reframe your language and say something like, I'm having a hard time with this, but it's going to get better. And just relax. And eventually she did. By the afternoon of the first day, she was all excited because at lunchtime she meditated and she was able to do it, and she came back all excited.
Wow.
But she's a scientist, so she had a hard time from a critical mind standpoint of getting into the meditative state.
Yeah.
But she did fine in the end and was a great student once we got going on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it varies for people to people, right? First few it may take 2-3 months. For a few it may take longer time to get into that level of mind, alpha level of mind.
Most all of the students that I've had and all the graduates that I know were able to attain the alpha state during the class.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Always during they were able to do it during the class. And we do visualization exercises where they realize they have attained it.
Okay.
Visualization and imagination exercises where they realize they're getting to that deeper level. And they do attain it. I would say in my experience, almost always in the first day of class.
Oh wow.
They are able to meditate. Many people will meditate that evening.
Yeah.
And come in the next morning and relate their experiences.
Okay.
Because we all have the same innate ability. We do.
Yes. Okay. So thank you so much, Fred. I think this session was amazing. We got answers for lots of questions that we get regular basis. So it will be helpful for the people who are watching us for the very first time, as well as for those who has already been a Silva graduate or have taken Silva home study program. So it's been so nice to meet with you and talking with you in the Silva Talk Show. Thank you so much, Fred.
Thank you. I appreciate your help.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Yes, you too.
Bye.
Bye.